Hello all. In this particular video, I'm actually going to talk about a very important topic called Agile RFPs, and then followed by contracting model and a pricing model. Okay. So before I actually get into the crux of this particular video, let me uh, quickly introduce about myself. My name is Balaji. I'm currently playing the role of an executive agile coach and also heading the Agile Transformation Office. I had been in this particular IT field for somewhere close to 20 years and somewhere close to 12 and a half years of experience in Agile driven engagements. So if you take my expertise or capabilities, I have been part of the safe implementation journey for multiple clients. I have been part of formulating an organization change management strategies, been a part of a digital transformation, business transformation, business agility initiatives, all kind of a strategic transformations. Okay, so let me go ahead and then share the screen. 1 minute. And also, put it in the slideshow. All right. So as I mentioned, we are now going to see in a very succinct manner how to respond to Agile RFPs and what are all the points which we need to keep in mind in terms of fundamentally formulating a contracting model or a pricing model. Okay, this is an introduction which I have already covered, and this could be the agenda. And this is my own career trajectory. So before I became a scrum master or an agile coach, I actually come from a typical Java J2E background combined with a functional testing with a QTP and a performance testing with a load runner. And then I became a team lead, project manager, program manager. When I was working as a project program manager, I actually got an opportunity to get transition to a scrum master role, and from there my journey started in a agile trajectory, and I'm currently playing the role of a executive agile coach. Okay, so one of the challenges which actually companies have as on date is continuously acquiring clients in the pipeline, right? So if in case your current organization is fundamentally unable to win the deals, then there will be potentially very difficult to keep up the revenue pipeline. So in this particular video, let us spend some time on understanding what are all the different building blocks, what are all the different aspects or dimensions which we need to focus so that the RFP is not getting rejected. Okay, now some people ask me, why is that I need to spend more time on understanding the RFP? It is because an organization is a system of a system. If your company is not continuously winning the deals, probably your own performance bonus, probably your own quarterly your payout. It could be a quarterly payout in some companies, or it could be an annual payout in some other companies. But the point what I'm trying to say is, if your organization is not having a revenue pipeline, it is going to by and large impact your performance bonus or a variable pay, because an organization is a system of a system from a system thinking point of view. Okay, now, what could be the potential reasons why a company is not able to win a deal? Whatever thoughts come to your mind, you can probably put it in the comment section of this particular YouTube video once I upload it, of course, and then we can probably collaborate offline too. Okay, so in this particular slide, I'm just sharing my own experiential insights in the terms of fundamentally an RFP is basically a slot which is going to talk to slots. Okay, what is that I meant? So what are the slots? This is how, okay, this is a template based on my experience. How do you encapsulate a particular RFP? Means these are the benefits or value that your potential prospect or lead is going to get, considering the cost that particular client is going to incur, given the qualifications or the methods which you're going to apply to solve the problem. And once you solve the problem, these are the objectives which the client is going to obtain, and thereby improve the current situation of the client. So understand one thing, that the prospect is actually coming to you either to solve a pain point in the existing landscape, or the prospect wanted some kind of a process improvement, some kind of an enhancement, right? Or the prospect wanted you to guide in terms of your regulatory governance or the compliance activities. Fundamentally, these are the two or three needs for which most of the prospects or the leads come to the vendor. Okay. Now, this is the thought what I actually put over in this slide also, explaining you what do you mean by this. Now, when you look into this, you can replace that word methods or qualification probably as the closest thing in terms of your capabilities, competencies, or the okay, okay, like fundamentally it also could be, do you have the skills needed, do you have the capabilities, no, as a vendor or as a trusted business partner, do you have the capabilities, competencies needed, or do you have any kind of an accelerator or an enabler which is going to address the pain point of the client. Okay, so before you get on to writing an RFP, first of all we need to understand the intent of the RFP. For example, some of the clients come to a new vendor probably in terms of a vendor consolidation activity also. If they have 10 clients and they now wanted to consolidate it only to 3 or 4, so you need to spend some time on understanding why are they doing what are they doing. Without understanding the why part, if you jump directly to the solution part, I don't think it's a wise man approach. Okay, so spend some time on understanding the intent of the RFP, and then you need to form the team. Means, as obvious, the RFP team which we are going to form should have the capability to arrive pointers or propose solutions to the envisaged problem. Now, some people ask me, okay, Balaji, I understand that we need to form a team. So who all could be the potential team members? That particular thing comes from the context of the ecosystem. Look into the nature of the RFP, whether it's a greenfield project or a brownfield project, or whether it's a data migration activity. What are you trying to do in that particular RFP? Based on that, you need to have some cross-functional team which can deliver sustained value in terms of proposing the solution, or at least providing pointers to the envisaged solution. And then how are you going to do the current state analysis? Because unless and until I actually understand the existing ecosystem or the existing landscape of the client, what are the types of applications, how many applications are getting migrated, what is the scope or boundary of the RFP, don't ever jump onto solutioning something without even understanding the extent of the impact. So whether we are proposing an RFP at a team level, or at a program layer, or at a portfolio level, or some other terms could be a product line level or at a product group level, understanding all these things, and then jumping onto and then jumping onto solution is much more wiser approach, rather than formulating a solution and then coming back every time to understand the problem context. Okay, so that is what I meant by doing a good amount of, okay, spending some good amount of time on the CSA, which is called as a current state analysis, and then you try to get a holistic view in terms of formulating the solution. So what I used to do is I used to block the time of the prospect or the lead, and also spend some good amount of time in terms of RFP playback session. So what is the meaning of this RFP playback session, wherein I'm actually hovering the mouse now, right? RFP playback session is a kind of a quick feedback with the prospect or the lead, so as to ensure that whether you are treading the path in the correct direction. Okay, okay. And then probably these are all some of the slides wherein I'm trying to set the context why we need budgets. Because even if you take you as an individual, you need to do some kind of a budget planning for the month, right? If not, what will happen, whatever the inflow of the cash may not be properly optimized. So if budget is so important at an individual level, needless to justify the importance from my end at an organizational level. So some thoughts pertaining to it, I have actually put it over here. Okay. Then one more thing what I like to say is, now when you are getting into an agile driven engagement, probably at the beginning days of the engagement, we may need to do a discovery phase of the project. Now, many clients tell me, because it is a discovery phase, you cannot expect the full billing. No? So appropriately, there could be some clauses, or whether you slightly reduce the billing rate during the discovery phase. Okay, so see, in this video, I'm just going to touch on a very high level, because it is not a one-on-one mentoring session. Because if it is a one-on-one mentoring session, like what I do in my agile mentorship program, at the time I can give you specific examples. At the time I can give you some process checklist, some artifact, some templates to justify what I say. But because this is a quick video which is going to give an overview, I'm not going to deep dive into every subtle nuances or the nitty gritties. Okay, I'm just going to cover at a very high level. So all that I'm trying to say is, whenever you are formulating either a program increment zero or your iteration zero as part of the discovery phase, try to have a separate class for it. Okay, and because we all know, right, in an agile driven engagement, by and large we are trying to fix the cost and the time, and then the scope of the project will get varied. Because if you don't keep the scope flexible, you cannot respond to the market and you cannot add value to the client. Okay, that's the fundamental concept, as we all know. So in this slide, I'm actually talking at a very high level. For example, how do you compute the cost of the current sprint, right? We need to have clarity on the number of people working, what is the billing rate per hour, into how many hours per day. So I multiplied by 8, into how many weeks, because it is a 3 weeks. Let's take the example of a 3 weeks iteration. So I multiplied it by 3, multiplied it by 5, because a week consists of 5 working days. So these slides will give you some pointers for you to think forward. Okay, so these are all the different contracts wherein I put some upper limit contract, lift off contract, and then iterative contract, fixed profit contract, also called as a risk sharing contract, followed by the uh, uh, target price profit. Uh, okay, followed by the target price profit contract. So I'm not going to explain each and everything. If you wanted to know more on this, just pause this video at this particular point, and then you can zoom the screen and then take some notes or pointers from this particular slide. And okay, these are all the different pricing models what we have, which could be a staff augmentation, which is more of a resource deployment only, followed by the time and material, wherein the billing is done based on the time spent or clocked or logged, followed by fixed price or fixed bid, then fixed capacity, wherein you can give pod as a service. Then you also have some models like a output based story points, output based transactions, output based for application development and application maintenance, service catalog based, and then outcome based pay and outcome based gain share. Once again, what I suggest you is, you can pause the video here and then take these terms from my slide and then go through it in a detail from some other sources. Now let me tell something important. Okay, I'll just try to unshare it for a moment, and then we will just continue. 1 minute. Okay, so let me tell which is something important. So what happens is that, no, many people tell that yes, in an agile driven engagement we cannot keep the scope fixed. So if that is the criteria, then how come I can give a fixed price model? See, now my say to this is, you cannot keep the scope fixed, but you can fix the size. Means what? These many amount of volume of story points or feature points. If I go one level above, if you are using the word story point at a user story level, now if I position myself at a program layer wherein I have a feature backlog, we have a concept called a feature points. Now actually my say is, when I'm formulating a contracting model for a fixed price project in an agile driven engagement, what I used to do is, I used to tell to my client, folks, can we go by a fixed price? Like what you say is perfectly fine. But then the scope cannot be fixed now. Why? Because it is agile. So we need to respond to change rather than following a plan. While there is value on the right, the value on the left is more than the value on the right. So the point what I'm trying to say is don't fix the scope at the beginning. Now the question comes, if I don't fix the scope, then how I can write an RFP? Point is very simple. Don't fix the scope, but fix the size. Means probably these many feature points, a chunk of work will be positioned at a costing margin of rupees XYZ. But what is that particular feature, that I will decide later. So I am saying this much of feature points is delivered, wherein one feature point will be defined clearly. Because if you don't define what is the one story point or what is your wall of reference for one feature point, it's not going to make a relevance. So you define the size, but don't fix the scope, because scope may tend to change. And later, depending upon the dynamics of the project, what I do is I introduce something called the exchange model, wherein even though I have committed 50 story points of these work ABC, now when the priority toggle happens, I can remove ABC from the backlog and replace that particular ABC with XYZ. So I'm just giving you an example. Okay, ABC is some variety of work, XYZ is some other variety of work. I can replace the ABC and reposition this particular XYZ in the place of the ABC. So what am I trying to say is, even in a fixed price project, an agile driven engagement will perfectly work, provided you have the agility to write the RFP or a contracting model in a smart manner. So don't go for a fixed scope, go for a fixed size. What will you put inside the size based on the scope? That will become based on the cone of uncertainty, based on the rolling wave backlog approach, based on the progressive elaboration. So if you find a little bit difficult in understanding this concept, I may prefer you to go through this video once or twice and take some notes. And if you still have any problem, feel free to connect with me on a WhatsApp. I will share the WhatsApp number of me in the description of this video when I actually upload it. Okay. Now let me share the PPT once again. All right, so these are the different pricing models, what I thought from my point of view or from my experience. Okay. And a few more patterns in the industry, what we see is the managed capacity. Even SAFE has something called a SAFE managed investment contract. So probably you can, because it is like something like, for this particular program increment, the capacity is actually fixed. So you can take these terms and then probably try to do a Google search, SAFE managed investment contract. I have picked up some of the slides from SAFE. And then I have written some slides on the dynamic budgeting, which is like a portfolio level rolling wave kind of a funding model. And then this slide is going to talk about my customized agile framework, wherein if you see at the portfolio layer, I am having an investment mix, and based upon the strategy, based upon the decision made at a portfolio level, dynamically we will decide which particular epic or sub epic need to be funded at this point in time, depending on the quarterly priorities. Okay. Now the point is, if you go to safe literature, SAFE uses a term called participatory budgeting. But then participatory budgeting is one way of a dynamic budgeting. You have something called a beyond budgeting also, and you have something called a zero-based budgeting, a trifecta. So take these terms and then try to do a Google search. Probably it will expand your horizons of thinking. Okay, so these are all some of the further read material. Pause the video here and then take notes. Take notes. Take notes if you want. Okay, so this is something as an, okay, so before we wrap up the video, I just wanted to tell all these concepts will be taught by me to you hands-on if you are part of my agile mentorship program. Okay, so this is how the framework of AMP looks like. Scrum Master, your team level coach, your program coach, your portfolio coach, and your executive coach. And this is the framework. Okay, so what does Agile Mentorship Program is actually trying to do for you? Agile Mentorship Program is trying to do only one thing. Point number one is you are trying to leverage based upon my experience, my insights, and my capabilities, so that your career journey is getting accelerated. The very second important point is we have our own community of agile practitioners as part of this particular mentorship group. So once you become part of the mentorship program, the entire community family is there to help you, is there to support you if you need any guidance. Or for example, you had an interview question for which you are not able to answer. The moment you post it in that particular community WhatsApp group, what I have, for which I am the admin, different agile coaches, agile no aspirants are actually part of the group. They will come forward to help you. See, you can might as well do a Google search, you can might as well do a YouTube search. But I am saying we are not giving you knowledge, we are giving you experiential knowledge as part of this particular AMP. So I think there is a difference between knowledge versus an experiential knowledge. Okay, so these are all some of the testimonials. Again, what I recommend is I will be running through the video. If you wanted to read this particular testimonials in a very detailed manner, pause the video here and spend some time to understand the testimonials, which is a testimonial from Manoj, Lopa, Sendil, Shitish, Krishwana, just to name a few. And these are all some of the webinar testimonials based on Vivek, Santosh, Satya, Vimal, Nitin. Okay, just to name a few. All right. So the way the mentorship program works is it will be a hybrid model. I will be giving you a full set of recording pack. You will watch the recording. I will be giving you a full set of templates. You will watch the recording, understand the templates from the recording, and then come back to me during the weekend for a one-on-one coaching or a mentoring session. I generally do one-on-one coaching or a mentoring. I never do a group coaching or a group call, so that because some people will have a inhibition to ask questions or anything in front of some other person. So to respect the privacy of my mentees, I generally do a one-on-one mentoring or a coaching session. And one more important thing what we have started as part of the initiative is on every alternative Saturday, we started with something called Inner Circle Weekly Mastermind. This Inner Circle Weekly Mastermind is only for my mentees group. So once you become part of my mentorship program, you can come over here and start asking your real-time questions or your real-time challenges or wherever you have your difficulty, and the entire community will be there to support you. Why it is mentioned as alternative Saturday is because the other alternate Saturday, I generally try to do a free webinar to the general public or the larger audience. So I have positioned Inner Circle Weekly Mastermind as a every alternative Saturday. Okay, so these are all the bonus which you get as part of the AMP. You can get access to my private Facebook group where we have a lot of videos and all those things. And these are all some of the social media links. All right. Okay, the very purpose I made this particular video is to actually tell an important point that writing an RFP is an art. Of course, we have some techniques, we have some models in place, we have some checklists, we have some systematic way of doing things. But then how you really win the deal? How do you create a unique selling proposition and then try to position yourself among different vendors, and how are you going to get a competitive edge? It's more of an art rather than a science. And because it's an art, it is not something that you just Google or watch an YouTube video and then learn it. Of course, those videos will give you pointers, but those videos may not give you the actual contextualization or customization as per the ecosystem or the demand of the client, right? So just wanted to know So just wanted to tell the point that writing an RFP is an art. The more you get experience in writing minimum close to 50 to 60 RFPs, then probably you will get that hands-on feel. Okay, so if in case you need my help in terms of your interview clearing or in terms of your JD based coaching or any kind of a support uh, related to agile and agility, you can feel free to connect with me. Let's see what is the maximum value that I can add you as part of your career trajectory. Okay, cheers. See you later. Bye.